welcome back to my channel. It is Akila, the Bougie Traveler. So, back to our flight attendant series. This video, I'm gonna tell you some tips on the interview process. So by now, you have already done all of your assessment. It's giving you some ideas on what airline that you're gonna work for, the core values, the mission statements. It's gonna give you a little information about the job description, maybe the planes, the city codes, little bits of things. So by this point, you might be starting either at the video interview, an interview where they just ask you questions online, which is still a video interview, or a face-to-face video interview, or your face-to-face interview. So I'm gonna help you with both. What you wanna do is make sure that you do your interviews within the time frame. When it comes to the video interview, it could take anywhere from a week or 2 weeks for them to get back to you, or maybe even a month. And then you only have a few days to do it. Normally it's no more than 3, maybe 5 to 7 days. So you need to make sure you do it within that time frame. Otherwise, you've just missed out on your whole chance. So you need to make sure that you do it in the time frame. Make sure you have enough time. Make sure you give yourself, a lot of time. Normally the interviews could be anywhere from 20 minutes to 30 minutes or an hour. It just depends on which type of interview you're doing. If it's a video interview, they usually do it pretty quick. Now, if you're doing the prompt questions, make sure you're answering them to the T. You give a lot of description and personality, not too much. Answer the correct question, how they ask it. Now, if you're doing a face-to-face video interview, you can be more personal, ask the interviewer how they're doing. Make sure you're always smiling. Make sure there's no noise around you, or you're not just looking all around confused. Make sure you don't have a dog in the background like I do. And make sure you answer all the questions. Usually when it's a face-to-face video interview, 5 to 10 questions as well. They'll ask you about the company. They'll ask you about, of course, a basic question, why you want to be a flight attendant, why you think you'd be a great fit for our company. So just have those questions in mind. Normally when you're doing a video interview, they don't tell you right there if you're making it to the next step. You'll go ahead and do the video interview, whether it's the prompt questions or a face-to-face video interview, and they will let you know by email. Make sure you submit it on time, that you get it done within the time frame, because if you don't, they're gonna pass you up and go to the next person. So make sure you get that done first. Okay, now the in-person interview. That is the most important interview. You've made it through the application process, the assessment, the video interview. Normally at the video interview, they will send you an email saying that they got it, it's submitted, so you just have to wait. That could take anywhere from 3 days, 2 weeks, to a month. It just depends on what airline that you're working for. I know mine, it took me a month and a half, maybe 6 weeks for Spirit to have gotten back to me. What's wrong, Coco? Come on now. Come on up here. I told you you can sit by me. So make sure you are prepared. Make sure you know the date, the time, the location, and the city. Because majority of the time, I'm going to tell you, they're not in the city that you live. So if you need to fly out to that interview, make sure that you're prepared for that. If you need to drive, take a bus. I took the Greyhound to Dallas because it's only about 3-4 hours from Houston. I stayed in a little cheap hotel for the weekend. Well, actually for a night. And then the next day I went. So once you're there for your interview, make sure you have everything you need. So the day of the interview, you want to make sure you wake up early enough. If your interview's at 9, I would say wake up at 6 or 7, depending on where you're at. Showing up on time is late. It doesn't matter if it's an all-day thing and they have different time frames. Your time frame is when you need to be there, because even if you're there waiting 2-3 hours, when they told you to be there, that's when you need to have checked in. Make sure you're early. When I went to my Spirit interview, it was an all-day event. My interview was at 10 a.m. I didn't even go into the in-person interview until maybe 12 or 1 p.m., but I made sure I was there at around 9 a.m. Make sure when you're at the interview, you have everything, you double-check everything. The day I went to my interview, I whipped my stockings, leaving the hotel. So I had to stop by the CVS, give me another pair of stockings on the way to the interview because I wanted to make sure I was completely in compliance. My hair was up in a bun, I had earrings, my makeup was minimal, natural. I had stockings covering my tattoos, no extra piercings. Those are very important. I'm telling you, when you go to the in-person interview, look over yourself more than once. There was a girl that showed up, fully dressed, had came from out of state, got turned away because of the nose piercing. As simple as that. Because to them, it's like, you didn't even pay attention to your face. And you want to be a flight attendant, you didn't pay attention to your face to take out the nose piercing. And she was very upset, but they're very strict and very serious. And it's hundreds of people coming to that interview that day. So you don't want to be the one that gets turned away over something as simple as taking out a piercing or showing a tattoo, not having your required items, not being in the correct outfit for an interview. So make sure you're prepared. You look the part. The most important part, the face-to-face interview. That is where you're going to show them that you are the best fit for this position. Make sure you're dressed, you look the part, you're smiling, you're polite, you answer the questions directly, clearly. Make sure you've gone over, once again, the mission statement, core values, the job description. Make sure you're willing and able to travel. Make sure you're willing and able to go to training. Trust me, when I went to Spirit interview, there was a lady who got turned away because she said she couldn't go to the training when they set the training date because they moved it. This job is all about changing. So they might say training starts June 20th, but then they change it to June 24th or July 24th. You have to roll with the punches. That's what this career is about. There's things changing all the time. So make sure if you go to that interview and they ask you, are you willing and able to be here at this time? Can you take away from work or home for this amount of time for training? You can. When you go to that interview, they want to make sure that they have people that are reliable, that are going to be on time, and that they can depend on. So when you go to your interview, make sure you're relaxed, prepared, and you make it through. Once you've done your interview, they're going to probably move you into another room. Most of the time, they will let you know. Most of the time, they let you know right then and there. I know at Spirit, they let us know right then and there because we did everything afterwards, the fingerprint and the drug testing. They're going to pull you in a room and let you know. They're going to give you all your information on when training is, what you should be expecting in your email for training, and then you're going to do your drug test and your background check. Both of my interviews, I knew I had already gotten the job. At my charter airline, they had to wait a week to let us know. They did things a little bit differently, but I knew when I left that I had the job. They let me know a week later I got the job, and then I ended up having to go to a facility here in my city to do the drug test, to do my fingerprinting because they didn't have it there on site. For the charter airline that I work for, I actually had the interview in San Antonio because that's where I am technically based. And I did the same thing that I did at Spirit. I went down there, took a Greyhound bus, spent the night in the hotel, and then left the next day of the interview. And everything worked out perfectly. So once you've done your interview, you're most likely going to do a drug test and background check. And it usually takes about a week for them to get back to you. But once you have done the interview process and passed, you are now have received your CJO, conditional job offer. Now that you've gone through all your interview processes, the application, the research, the interviews, video, face-to-face, and you got your CJO, congratulations. You got your CJO, conditional job offer. Now you need to really prepare for training. That is the most important part of this job. That's gonna get you the permanent job. So in the next video, I'm gonna discuss all of that information, giving you tips, what to expect, what it's like, my experience. So I'll catch you next time. Thank you for watching my video. Follow me on Instagram and TikTok at TheBougerTraveler94. Thank you so much, you guys, and congratulations to everyone who just recently got their CJO. I know all the airlines are hiring right now. Delta, United, American, Spirit. So I can't wait to see you guys.